Let us get into a Russian accent. I like my rifles to be like my vodka. It must be strong, bitter, and deadly. Alright folks, welcome to another episode of my AEG ownership reviews. So today I've got the G&G RK74-E. Now this is an AK clone. It's a more modern, updated version of the AK, hence the RK label. Alright, now G&G makes these in three variants. You get the super long one, you get the intermediate one, which is the E, and then you get a short little stubby one that's made for close quarter combat. This one is the mid-range, mid-level kind of AK, so I chose this one. I can use it on fields, I can use it CQB, the FPS is allowable for that most of the places. And yeah, like my last review, I'm going to take you through it step by step. At the front, I've put on the muzzle brake from the MBR 308, made by G&G as well. It came with a little popcorn machine in the front, one of those noise amplifiers. Not my style, I like to be all tactical and sneaky, so I popped that one on there. Alright, it does have the 14mm counterclockwise thread, so if you want to put suppressors, tracer units, and various other accessories that fit that thread, you can put it on there.
Oh, that was so close.
Alright, moving on, we have the top of the barrel shroud here. So this dial over here, which would normally be your gas block on a real rifle, you rotate that to reveal your battery compartment. So it takes your Tamiya connectors, and then you can see the MOSFET just sticking out there. Battery wise, there's not a lot of room in here, really. So what I normally do is I use the 3-part 11.1 lipos, and I tuck them in the 2 cells. I'll tuck them next to the barrel. I'll show you here. So I'll tuck 2 of the cells in there, and I'll lay the 3rd cell flat on top, and then just curl the cable over and plug it in there. It's a bit tricky. You're gonna see the blue or the black or the red of the battery, depending what color it is, through the key mod, but that's the simplest way I've found to actually mount a battery in there. I like the 11.1s on these because you get such a rapid rate of fire. I haven't tried any of the smaller batteries. The normal, the nunchuck, the 2 round ones, they don't fit in there, there's not enough room. It does come with your key mod rail system. You've got full rails running all along the top, and then this is just an additionally purchased little key mod section Picatinny rail that I bought and put on there. It does come with a short little piece of Picatinny rail down the bottom here. I've attached another FMA grip because once again it just suits my style of playing, so I like to bring things up, use my fingers to control the rifle, keeps my hand off the mag. You're playing long games, you're getting a bit tired, so it keeps your hand off there. So the next question you're going to ask is, can you do mag changes with the grip here? And yes, you can. You got to be a little bit careful, but it's quite straightforward. Bit of practice, you just get it in there, not a problem. Speaking of the magwell, it does come with its own G&G mags, but they are cross-compatible. So I've got here metal mag. I think this is classic army, I can't remember. But anyway, it does fit other mags. I've tried a couple of others. G&G makes their own high cap mags for it. This works just as well. And you can see I don't have too much issue banging into the handguard. You know, take your time. Mag release. It's a dual paddle system, so you can whack it with your thumb. You can whack it with your index finger if you want to. But I just find with AKs, I just rip them out, park, take my next mag, seat it, lock it in, you're good to go. Coming across the top, I've got a little Trigicon RMR, what would you call it? Knockoff, I guess. It's one, got it off eBay again. It's nice, it's just a simple little red dot. Can adjust its brightness, windage and elevation. What I found with AKs is because the stock is quite low relative to the top here, smaller scopes tend to work when I do my cheek weld. You know, I weld up and it's perfectly in line with my eyes. If you're going to start putting taller scopes and things on there, you're going to kind of end up shooting like this just to see through there, and you're not going to be able to control the gun as well. Alright, moving on from there. The dust cover is quite stable. It's the barrel shroud or the gas block cover is a lot more stable because that's held in there with the screw. This one is just held in, you know, by the normal AK dust cover attachment button here. Alright, but look, I mean, it's airsoft. You're not going for like sub MOA accuracy at 100 meters kind of thing. I've found it's been adequate to keep accuracy for airsoft reasons. It is quite stable, you know, there's a little bit of rattle on there, but it's not too bad. Then from there, selector, fire selector. What's nice is G&G has included this little tab here for your index finger. Other AKs you kind of have to let go, swipe forward, swipe up. But this one you can do it with your index and your thumb, or you can just use your index finger. Okay, it is quite tight, so maybe sometimes you've got to use your thumb like this, but bit of practice, you're fine. Another feature that G&G has included is a little cutout here on your selector lever. So you put it down into semi, yank it all the way back and line up your charging handle there, and it will lock the dust cover or the bolt back in place. Alright, so that gives you access to the hop there. It's a sliding hop. You can adjust it. Now, the only thing to be careful of is because the wires for the electronic trigger unit run through here, you don't want to just whack your safety off and send that sliding home. It might chip your wires on the other side, so I just give it a little bit of tension and close it like that. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. So you can see the red wires there. So if you're not careful and you let that slide, you might just chip these wires here. Okay, I've tucked them away, so it's okay on mine, but I wouldn't recommend it on yours unless you check that. Like my Predator, I have done quite a few modifications. So the first thing is the inner barrel on the inside. I've polished it. I use the cleaning rod with a bit of the microfiber cloth and some Brasso and a drill machine, and I just polish that like a couple of 100 times to get a nice smooth finish on the inside. The hop-up bucking, which you can't see here, I have changed it for the Modify flat hop. Works really well. You know, G&G makes a really good green bucking, so there's not really much reason to change it, I found, for mid-range engagements, but I've put it in here just because I'm still experimenting. Next thing is the cylinder. I changed it out for the blue one. The reason is my LiPo batteries are the same blue, so when I have the blue up the front, I've got the blue at the back. Looks kind of symmetrical instead of a weird brass color down here and then the blue up the front. That's just cosmetics because I can. The cylinder itself has also been polished on the inside. I make sure everything there is like nice and smooth. I've changed the piston and the piston head from the stock ones to aluminium. Because this thing is rapid fire, I make it nice and strong. The piston head on this I've left as is. It seemed fine, it's quite rugged, and saw no reason to change it. I've also done what they call the correcting the angle of engagement. As I explained in the last video, you've got a piston that slides backwards and forwards here. Put that out of the way. There's no battery, it is safe. So the piston slides backwards and forwards. You've got a bunch of gears all sitting here at the back. Now what you do is that where those gears engage the piston, sometimes they're like a little off center. So when they rotate back, they push the piston into the top of the rifle or the gearbox. That causes wear and tear, causes strain, it slows down your rate of fire. So what I do is instead of the gears meeting at a funny angle, I put a tap washer in the front of my piston. It's glued in so that it won't come loose. and that actually shifts everything back a little bit so that the gears can come up, meet your piston on the inside at a nice 90-degree angle, and it actually helps speed up your rate of fire. The tap washer also helps get rid of some of the impact that goes into your gearbox and will just extend its life. It is a bit tricky to do, so I wouldn't just rip it open, shove a tap washer in there. You got to shave some stuff away. But if you look on YouTube for tutorials, it's called correcting angle of engagement. And then if you're feeling up to it, you can you can do that on your own time. Okay, so internal wise, that's pretty much it. The MOSFET takes care of a lot of the the bang and all that kind of stuff for me. The trigger, because it is a MOSFET, it's a very short take up before it actually hits the switch that activates everything. I'm going to put this here on the microphone, maybe you can hear it. Alright, I'm not going to do ghosting triggers like a certain other channel because it's totally pointless on this. But the trigger on this is extremely rapid fire. Grip, alright, it's also G&G's ergonomic grip. I like it. There's a nice chunk of plastic here so that when you're holding the rifle, your finger's not getting chewed up by the trigger guard here. I wear gloves all the time anyway, so I find that just gives me a nice purchase on the rifle. Okay, one sling mount attachment here, just a circular one. You can clip a sling in there. You can get Picatinny rail sling attachments that you can just attach to the rifle anywhere here if you want to run a 2-point, or if you want to run your single point, you can do it here as well. Coming to the back, you've got a AR-15 style stock at the back here, multi-positions. I run it here just on the number 1 because it's already quite a long stock. Everything's quite far back. Get it in there, boom, boom, it's up. Okay, a few other things to mention. It is got a full metal body. The only thing that's not metal on this is obviously my grip in the front, the pistol grip here, and the stock at the back. Everything else is pretty much metal. The whole receiver, lower receiver here, is, from what I can tell, made out of cast aluminium. So it's pretty solid. The top is stamped metal, and all the other bits up here are aluminium. Disassembly is a little bit trickier than your normal AR-15 rifles. To open it up, you've got to take out the dust cover or the mock bolt. There's a whole bunch of screws in here to loosen up so that you can take the front off and get to your barrel. Then from there, you remove your main screw here and your grip motor and so on. Remove the motor itself, and then the gearbox slides out. So in some ways it's a bit simpler than your AR-15, in other ways you've got to disassemble much more to actually get to your internals. But I'm happy with it. If anyone knows me, I do a bit of airsoft gunsmithing. I've taken it apart a few times, haven't had too much of a problem. Okay. Otherwise, rate of fire, out of the box, brilliant. This thing likes to use LiPo batteries, so I would get a LiPo if you're going to use this. Accuracy, well, that's up to you mostly. The barrel it came with, I found, had a nice chrome coating, like a stainless steel finish, so I don't think they spared any expense in terms of the barrel. I've checked it out, it's nice and smooth inside. It had the G&G green bucking, which in my opinion is excellent. I highly recommend it. So I have had no accuracy issues with this particular rifle. Rate of fire, reliability, everything is great. The screws have all stayed put, nothing has walked out, and yeah, I'm very happy with it. For what it is, for what it's worth, if you want a really cool tactical AK, you're not what do they call it, a cloner or a hardcore milsimmer that has to look authentic. If you just want something nice, performs well, and it's a bit different to the AR-15s out there, I definitely would give this a good look. Last thing to mention, the paint job, that was me. It's Rust-Oleum burnt bronze, so they come full black. And that's that. Thanks a lot. Stay safe out there, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.
That was me. Careful, train.